Supreme Court today is hearing arguments on the issue of transgender in sports. And I'm just curious, what's the opinion of high schoolers this day and age about individuals who are transgender in sports? And this, okay, Liliana, you jump.
I mean, I really feel like that's just depends on what crowd you're asking, and it depends on where you are too. Like I know a plethora of people who'd be like, oh, that's the worst idea I've ever heard. And I know people who'd be like, oh, I think it's okay. I think that it's only fair. So it just depends on who you're asking.
Okay, here's the real question. It's not so, well, it is. It's actually, it does relate to those that are attending the sports events, like volleyball, girls soccer, or pardon me. You've got ladies lacrosse. That's right, and then you also have I'll spit it out here, field hockey, but you also have ladies who are wrestling.
Oh yeah.
And matter of fact, Croatan
Has girl wrestlers.
girl wrestlers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not many, but they exist.
But here's the kicker: would they feel? What would it be like if they had to compete against a male?
I mean, with wrestling, I feel like we just have to be logical about this. That's like so imbalanced.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the anatomy of a man wrestling a woman. I mean, like, come on.
Where do you draw the line? Arguably, Liliana, where would you draw the line? You say it's imbalance. I would say in track, in swimming, any number of activities.
Maybe chess.
Chess, sorry, yeah.
There's definitely certain sports that I think it's more reasonable to do it in. But I mean, I feel like
if it comes to pinning a woman on the ground,
if it's like a strength-based sport, I feel like that's definitely a little bit more imbalanced due to just genetics.
Yeah.
But I mean, in something like maybe running, there's definitely some girls that I know, or like something like gymnastics. Gymnastics is a very balanced sport in terms of that. I feel like men and women's gymnastics are very similar.
I'm not a gymnast. I don't see it though because I
mean, neither do I really. But
Charlie.
okay.
I mean, honestly, I feel like the only way to make people on both sides of the argument, whether you think it's fair or not, is if it had its own category. It would be the most reasonable.
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't see why we don't have its own category, because that appeases both sides. The one that says, hey, I don't think that they should be on the women's team, and the one that thinks, hey, I think it's fine that they're on the women's team, you know?
That's a great point.
It makes no sense why to have this much argument when you can just make an additional team, you know? And then that's just your own opinion. If you think it's fine, join that team then.
All right. Okay. Trey?
And here's the thing, right? I think we'd be having a much different conversation about it if the transgender athletes in women's sports weren't dominating the records.
Yeah.
I forget her name. She was a swimmer at the collegiate level and is at the top significantly of every
Gaines. Riley Gaines.
Was it Riley Gaines?
Gaines,
it's one thing when it's fair competition, but when you...
This one?
It may have been.
Leah Thomas.
There's been a few, but...
Leah Thomas.
Yeah,
Leah
I
Thomas.
think it's Leah Thomas.
It was Leah Thomas is the... And his given name was Will.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a swimmer at Penn, one of the Ivy League schools.
Mm-hmm.
And so this gets close to home. But anyhow, I have a family member who lost a title.
Sure. And
so because of that. Go ahead. I'm sorry. So
here's my point.
Yeah.
The percentage of transgender athletes relative to the...
Ooh, wait a second. Trey, you're about to get logical here. Keep going. Keep going. I'm going to give you credit.
The percentage of student athletes who identify as transgender, who transition from male to female, who compete in women's sports is significantly higher than the rate of any other factor that is, how do I word this, that is that high in the rankings. Yeah. If they are such a small percentage of the actual
So in other words,
competitors,
yeah.
then why are they
They should-
dominating
they-
every single chart?
Okay, yeah. So
I just been proud of him for that answer.
he's right. So what he's saying, ladies and gentlemen, is it's an inverse relationship. It's a small number of transgender athletes with a high number of successes.
I say I agree with Reagan. I think they should have a league of their own to keep everything. I mean, to keep things fair for the
Kinda like
for the athletes who do practice and who do train to be the best at what they do, and also for them because they deserve to play a sport. Just
And
I
to
mean, just
compete.
you know.
Yeah, I just feel like it makes the most sense without making making people uncomfortable. Either way
Yeah.
you stand, I don't feel like there's anyone that really has an issue with another team. And even if you don't want the other team, don't watch it. It's like
Yeah.
that simple.
Though that does bring up another point. I mean, if they do make a separate league for it, that might not be super sustainable because it won't be super monetarily successful.
One of my very good family friends, her name is Harper Donovan. She is from the Wake Forest area, and she played soccer throughout all of high school. Was one of the top 30 recruits in the country in terms of women's soccer. She, training every day. There's a lot of work that goes into getting that title, and she has worked harder than most any other athlete that I've ever known in my life. And she now plays women's soccer at the University of South Carolina. It has a great women's soccer program. She's doing amazing. But I could not understand how someone could come in and undercut all that hard work and take a shortcut to get to a higher position in a league that they don't belong in.
You're the one who pointed out the inverse relationship, the small number of transgender athletes with a high number of successes. And by the way, to your point on the small number of transgender athletes, the other aspect of it is, why are we making these changes? This is an editorial comment on my part, making these changes for such a small minority. I mean, I appreciate minority rights and all the rest of that. However, are we benefiting the majority by doing that? And are we actually enhancing the enterprise? This goes back, though, to my other question. NIL, name, image, and likeness. And we talked about this, and Charlie, I mentioned it when we were going to a break. Here we have a football player who's gone on the transfer portal. He's leaving, I've forgotten which school it is, and he's a quarterback. As if the other 10 players on the team really don't matter, but okay. He's going to be going for a tune of $4 to $5 million
Wow.
to play football. Now, I don't even know if he needs to show up in the classroom. That's the other problem.
Yeah.
So my question to you, I have this concern that, to your point a few moments ago, Trey, here's a young lady who's struggling, working hard in high school to play in a college sport, yet the colleges now are going to be looking at the other teams to take players from those teams that have already been playing, or in the case of basketball, I didn't know if you knew this, they are recruiting pro players from foreign countries.
Oh, yeah. I think I've heard a little bit about
Yeah.
that.
So
Yeah.
I was at University of South Carolina a few months ago, and I was in one of the student parking garages for the athletic dorms, and I was with my friend who attends the University of South Carolina, and we pass a car it was a Lamborghini, one of the newer models, really nice. I think I looked up the model. It's worth a few $100,000 this car was.
Right.
And we drove past it, and the license plate said low GPA.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm not kidding. And I turned to my friend and I say, what was that? And she said, oh, it's a basketball player. Keep in mind, University of South Carolina is a taxpayer-funded public university. And is this money going to someone who's not focusing on academics and only focusing on athletics, which is a different conversation. Do they need to focus on their academics when they're not going to pursue a career in that field and they can just become an athlete? Is one thing. But if the university is giving them money, that is enough to supplement a Lamborghini, what are we doing?
Wait a second. Carson Beck. Carson Beck. from
Fantastic athlete.
Miami. Mm-hmm. He and his girlfriend went out for dinner. When they came back, her Land Rover had been stolen. Her Land
Yeah.
Rover. She played soccer or one of the ladies' sports. His Mercedes and his Lamborghini both got stolen. What does this say to a high schooler who, you're shaking your head, Liliana. What's your thought?
I don't know. I'm still just listening in the back. I don't really contribute much here.
Reagan?
I feel like that's crazy.
Charlie, let me hear from you. I'm just wondering. Go ahead.
I definitely that's insane.
You know, the thing that worries me is you've got a lot of high school players. Croatan has some very good athletes out there.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
We've had a great season for
Yeah.
most of
A
our
lot of
sports.
talent.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, a lot of talent. But I fear that their talent is going to be diluted. It's not going to be valued once they get out of high school. I mean, you've got youngsters.
I won't agree 100%.
Okay, because you've got youngsters who they're showing up in the classroom. They're getting an education by default because they want to play football, they want to play basketball, baseball, track, soccer. So they're making the investment. Your thoughts? Anything?
Let's go back to New Bern a few years ago.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure you remember there was a bit of a scandal
Yep,
where the administration at the school was changing the averages of the students' grades
Yep.
in order to
Keep
let
them-
them
keep
play
them on the
football,
football
keep them on
field.
the football field. And they went on to win the state championship that year. Had
And
a
it cost them-
great football program. And then it came out. Cost them the championship, cost the jobs of most of the coaching staff,
Coaches.
a lot of the administration.
Yep.
A lot of times, and I'm just going to be frank, athletes don't have to worry about grades. I think it's one thing for
That is
high
true.
school, but it's a
Yes.
different thing for college.
Yeah.
Are you going to have to worry about getting grades to go to college, to get a career or to study for a career that you're not going to take? Going back to the Carson Beck example. Fantastic athlete. Does he need to study? Is he going to go on to sell insurance, or is he going to go straight to the NFL and make millions of dollars? He doesn't need to worry about his grades, in my opinion.
Right.
It's different for high school because I do think
Yeah.
that grades should be always considered in the college application process,
Yeah.
even for athletics. I know that's never going to happen. But going back to NIL, Carson Beck, or any athlete, Fernando Mendoza, Dylan Gabriel, Ashton Genty. So I'm a big Boise State fan. Go
Yeah.
Broncos. Last year we had, in my opinion, the Heisman, the People's Heisman.
Right.
Travis Hunter ended up winning the Heisman Award. Jenny was getting a lot of calls from a lot of different schools. He was the
Right.
number one running back in the country. They threw a lot of money at him. I think Penn State, Oregon, and Genty. Along with the athlete, I think, along with being a fantastic athlete, he's a great guy. Because you know what he said, we've built a culture here, we've built such a community here. To leave and throw that all away is just something I could never do. And they're throwing all this money at him.
That's another interesting aspect of that. And by the way, that's another fear that what's going to happen is eventually high schools they're going to have what is known as open enrollment. Oh, hey, that's a very good player. He's only going to be sitting on the bench at New Bern, but we can use him first string at Croatan. We'll get him to enroll at Croatan or West Carteret or at East Carteret. So what happens is, pick on Reagan for a second. Reagan was hoping to play this year. She lives in the county. She's been going to the school. She's been showing up at practice. Culture, that culture that you were talking about. And all of a sudden, we've got Charlie over here who's going to be transferring from Havelock or from
Takes your
Newburgh.
Gosh, Charlie. Taking my spot.
Thank you, Charlie.
And take her
Good
spot.
job.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
not
know.
very nice, Charlie.
Yeah,
Another thing I think of is throwing, like, especially with the image like this, if the actual student is getting paid,
Yep.
like, in actual money, and it like ends up being a lot of it, you got to consider also what that's going to do to the student. I mean,
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're in college and you're a freshman, you're 18, 19, and you're getting thrown hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of dollars if you're popular enough.
And-
Like, that's not the real world.
And
Yeah.
that could really screw someone up because they could just party, throw it all away, and throw away their entire future just because they got like one payday.
Ohio State boys.
So,
But
so the real question here is, and I don't hear this conversation very much, but Trey, you're thinking it apparently. What does this do to high school sports? Because one of the benefits, and I'll give you an example. You all have Spirit Week.
yeah,
The whole idea, you mentioned that a few moments ago, the culture, the community. That's what high school is about, is it not?
oh for sure, 100%.
Brother and sisterhood.
It's the brotherhood. I mean, last year when Croatan went on to win the state championship in men's lacrosse,
Right?
that was amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone rallied around it. Like people were going to lacrosse games like never before. Like it's just
pride.
such,
I know.
it's such a pride aspect. And if players are going to
Community.
leave to go somewhere else,
That takes away from
it takes
a lot.
away from it. And it's the same conversation for college. Like
I'm stuttering here because what bothers me is you have young men and women who may not, in their later years, ever be able to play on the football field, play on the basketball court, wrestle, whatever, tennis. Here's an opportunity for them to at least compete
yeah,
and feel, to your point earlier about the issue of transgender, Trey, feel that they can compete in an equitable setting.
Yeah.
You know, mano a mano, woman a woman, or whatever it is. But anyhow, but the point of the matter is, what are we going to end up doing to high school sports?
ruining them. Because it's what's happened at college. Look at the state of college football 5 years ago.
It's nothing.
And look at it now. I mean, money should never be a question in sports, yet it always is. Because I will say, look at the draw for college football. Look at how much money it brings in. And I will say, NIL for the players is fantastic. They've been getting robbed in the past 20 years.
No question about that. And you know who's been robbing them?
The universities.
Universities.
Yes, because they are getting all this money from their likeness. So yes, I do think that
Using
the
them,
players
milking 'em.
earn the money. But with that being said, it's terrible for the organizations. It's amazing for these players who are getting the opportunities to make the money that they deserve.